everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. We are very excited for our guest today. We have Reid Rasner. He is a proud fourth generation patriotic American from Wyoming, and he's a highly successful entrepreneur and founder and CEO of Omnivest Financial. But we are not going to be talking about financial advice today. And Reid is also the owner of Rasner Media. And if his name sounds familiar to you, it's because we've talked about him a couple of weeks ago when we found out he was putting in a bid to purchase TikTok. Now, you guys know all of the frustration that we've experienced over the past few years with getting our social media posts taken down, our account shadow banned, basically on every platform, because we talk about the America First agenda and topics that you can literally find posted on government websites or that are backed by science and declassified documents. And at one point, TikTok was the only place where we could post conservative content and truthful content that questioned the mainstream narrative. But for the past year, TikTok seems to have done a 180, and we're getting censored now more than we ever have before. And it's kind of to the point where we don't want to post anymore. So we're actually very excited to have Reid on the show today to share his vision for TikTok and talk about his plan to rebuild it as an uncensored platform for content creators and the American people. So Reid, welcome to Unapologetically Outspoken.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So maybe you can start out and just tell everyone like what made you decide to throw your hat in the whole bid to buy TikTok?
It started out on how can we create a massive economic footprint in these Intermountain West and Midwestern states, and bringing a fintech or a technology aspect, a fourth legacy industry to these states is truly what we needed, and TikTok fit the model, not only for that but also for our America First agenda, leaving a massive legacy for President Trump to start that sovereign wealth fund and get it established and create something that will last for many, many, many generations after his presidency. So we're proud to be the ones pushing this forward and bringing it to America. We are the highest bid. We're the number one bid right now. And we're proud of that fact. And protecting everyone's First Amendment right is also obviously paramount in all of this. And those are truly the things that brought this about, and the things that we're fighting for every day, and the things that we're proud to champion.
Okay, so I have so many questions for you, but the first is about your bid. I was a little nervous at first when I saw Larry Ellison has a bid because he's part of this whole AI plan, it seems like, that Trump was talking about. But you said you're the highest bid so far, and you have a lot of unique points in your proposal. So can you talk a little bit about that? Like I saw you were going to invite users to become stakeholders. So maybe you can kind of give us an overview.
Well, first, we can talk about the other bids because, well, I don't know that we can talk about the other bids, because my question to you would be like, what are the other bids? And I'm not sure anybody knows what the other bids are. So from my
Uh,
conversations from within, no one knows what the other bids are, but everyone knows what Reid Rasner's bid is. It's 47.45 billion, 5% for the sovereign wealth fund, 6 months of due diligence. We bring TikTok to America, and we are the only bid, I can tell you this, that completely breaks the algorithm from China and brings it to America. So it's a complete break. The other bids, they just say they put a bid in. We don't know what it is. Mr. Wonderful says his is 20 billion. Mr. Beast, I believe, said his is 20 billion. Um, I have no idea what Oracle or Mr. Ellison's bid is. I have no idea what these other bids are. So I think that's an important point to make, is we've not only outlined our bid, but we've created the infrastructure, and we're building that out in states like South Dakota, and we're partnering with them with public-private partnerships. So I think that's really important to look at that, and to realize that our bid started out and where it's going. So we do have a vision. So the vision will always put veterans first, our veterans first hiring practices. The vision will always safeguard your First Amendment rights. It will safeguard the algorithm and your data. And we want to make sure that your data is protected, and the way you monetize your data is protected. So you own your data, which is revolutionary in all of this. It's your data, and you will opt in and say, yes, you can use my data, or you're going to opt out and say, no, Reid, don't take my data, don't store my data, and don't use it. And we're fine with that. If you're on the app and you say yes, opt in, then you're going to get paid for your data being on the platform. So just for having the app, you'll get monetization just for having it. When you look at video monetization, you're going to be able to monetize a lot easier on TikTok America under Raisner Media's plan. The TikTok shop is going to be a phenomenal, amazing place that's going to inspire entrepreneurism across America, which is great. And we're also going to have some great partnerships in there so we can have our affiliate sellers be part of this. And we want to make sure we monetize all the way up every aspect of this so that you, the creators, you, the users of TikTok, can profit share in all of that. And it'll truly revolutionize social media as we know it. And hopefully, our goal is to take a massive share of users from other platforms because they no longer are relevant in this new technological social media age that we're coming in. The golden age of America, President Trump called it. And I think we're on the forefront of it and we're leading from the front. That's for sure.
Okay, so many good things there. Number one, Tara and I talk about transparency all the time. And you're right, like you are the only one who's talking about your entire plan to buy it. I haven't heard anything, and I certainly don't trust some of the other people that have bids in. So I really appreciate that you are going into detail on all of this. And I know that's going to be the big question too, what you're talking about with monetization, because there's so many small business owners and creators where this is their livelihood, TikTok shop or getting monetized. But the flip side of that is what Tara and I have experienced. We'll have some videos pop off and yeah, we'll make some money from that. But then it seems like everything that follows will be shadow banned, and I feel like there are conservative content creators that are being treated unfairly compared to maybe people on the left in terms of videos being taken down with really no explanation. I mean, we provide sources, we, are giving information that's factual, and they will still take it down, and there's no getting it back. So, from that perspective, what's your plan when it comes to censorship? The current TikTok community guidelines are very heavily censoring people right now. Will that shift under you?
Yeah, so there's not going to be any censorship. So your First Amendment will reign supreme. As long as it's protected speech, it will be on the platform. And you have a First Amendment right, just like I do. And anyone else that's an American citizen has that First Amendment right protected by your Second Amendment. And don't ever, ever forget that. So as long as your speech is protected, it will be on the platform. Now, as far as propaganda or lying, everyone has a First Amendment, and to lie, you are allowed to go out there and blatantly lie. That's protected under the First Amendment. But we're going to community note it if it's and it'll pop up and it'll have reputable sources that say, hey, actually, this isn't true according to, and it could be several sources being cited, and then you have to click through to watch the video. So you're not being censored. Your video is still there. People can still watch it. All it's doing is saying, hey, this isn't true. We're not going to have human beings being the ones that community note. It's going to be AI, so it's going to be non-biased, non-emotional decision making, and I think this is important. And we partnered with Adlai for our AI cybersecurity and verification processes, and they're also developing this in the background. So this is really important to understand that no human, political, emotional being is going to be the community note. So if Reid comes out and says something factually untrue, I'll get community noted. And I think that's fair for everyone to realize. But my video is still up, and my First Amendment is still upheld, and you can click the watch now button still and see whatever I had to lie about.
And so, like, if you have these community notes, is there going to be like, okay, three strikes and you're out and you get your account banned like TikTok currently does?
No, you're gonna be able to
Okay.
lie every day, all day long if you want to lie. You'll just get community noted on every video. The three strikes rule is silly to me. So
Yeah,
this whole like yeah, it's like kindergarten, three strikes, like, you get a little X on the chalkboard. I don't know. It's
right.
silly. They don't even use chalkboards anymore. That tells the
Yeah.
colored line. So there you go.
We've had our account banned a couple of times, but it wasn't for lying. It was actually for factually correct information that we're just not supposed to talk about because it doesn't fit, the mainstream
Uh,
narrative. So we've seen a lot of that across TikTok. Um,
Are you
Go ahead,
are
Tara.
you going to have a similar algorithm, or are you doing something completely new?
Well, we're going to get the algorithm that they get us. So our bid is the only bid out there. I can tell you that our bid is the only one out there that's requesting the full algorithm. So the United States Congress passed a law that required the full algorithm be broke from China and that property come to America. The Supreme Court, unprecedentedly, 9-0 upheld that law and said this has to happen. And our bid is the only one on the table that actually accomplishes that and requests the full algorithm. So what they give us, I don't know, but we're requesting the full algorithm and then we'll enhance it from there. So we're requesting your data, the algorithm, everything to the American owned on American soil in American database centers and American owned cloud space. Whether we get that, I don't know, but we're gonna fight for it, and that's what we're working towards. That's what makes our offer $20 billion more is we're getting the algorithm.
Now, a question I have when you talked in the beginning about the bid and the government having like a 5% stake, do you think that that opens up the door for the issues that we saw during COVID, where, Meta, Mark Zuckerberg admitted to giving the government agencies like backdoor access to the platform? Do you have something in place to kind of like prevent that from happening, or what's your take on all of that?
Yeah. So Mark Zuckerberg is a weak man who caved under pressure, unfortunately. So I guess choose better leaders. I don't know what to tell you about this guy. Uh, I have nothing nice to say about him right now. So our bid will give 5% of TikTok America to the United States government to start the sovereign wealth fund. In that, they will get to participate. You all, the American taxpayers who own the sovereign wealth fund, will get to participate in the profits, but have zero control over the company. Even if they increase their stake up to 15 or 20%, there will be a cap on it. There will be zero control over the company. It'll be a different class share that they own. So you'll get to participate in all of the profits, but have zero control over the company. And no regulator is going to tell us to censor or ban or not say certain things or turn this into a propaganda arm like we saw happening where they had the death counter on the news. And it was a very, very dark time in American history during 2020. That's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, want
You
to
just
make
have to
sure
have
that.
someone strong enough to stand up and say no. Um, and unfortunately, there's some guys out there that just can't do that.
Yeah, well, I agree that Mark Zuckerberg is weak and a weasel, and I don't trust him one bit. So, no, that's good to know. I mean, I just feel like, from my perspective, when we first got on TikTok, it really was the place of like free speech. When Meta and Twitter and everybody else was censoring everyone, TikTok was where we could share information. And then as soon as the government got involved, that is when, we started seeing this mass censorship. And I don't know if TikTok is doing that to mess with the algorithm before selling it. I don't really know what their intentions are. All I know is we went from having all of this freedom to being super restricted, where we have to talk in code and everything else. So the way that I look at it is like it's unfortunate that someone has to come in and buy it in order to protect free speech, but that's where we're at. And, I just like that you're really the only person I've heard of so far that is willing to do that. Come out and say, like, we're not going to have censorship and you can, talk freely. Um, so I appreciate that. But like, what's going to happen if we're in another congressional hearing and the whole hot topic that they're talking about or they've talked about in the past with Zuckerberg is Section 230,
Yeah.
and for anyone listening that is unaware of this, it's what gives social media platforms immunity from being sued for content that's created by their users. Um, where do you stand on that? I know, like, I feel like I veer away from a lot of conservatives with that who think, they shouldn't have that protection. But I think if we took that away, the censorship would only get worse across platforms. Do you have an opinion on that?
Well, I think that protects. So if you're considered a publisher or not, so Section 230, I mean, take it away, sure. I don't, and then you're all the publishers, so you take on the liability, not me. So I'll just change my terms of service so that you, as a content creator, post a video and you're publishing it, not me, not Rasner Media, not TikTok America. We're not publishing it. You are, and you are liable for everything that you say and publish as an independent journalist. And this is why we have journalistic standards. And I was just on an actual interesting phone call right here in Wyoming talking about journalistic standards. And I think it's time for American journalists to have a refresher course on what on what those standards are, because independent journalism is going to just kick their butt soon. So sure, I could go either way on this, but I'm fine with getting rid of Section 230, and I think President Trump is on board with that and taking those protections away. And I think the terms of service for Meta and for TikTok and for X and for all of these platforms, Google with their YouTube and everything, is going to change, meaning that you're going to be liable for the things that you say and the things that you publish and how you say them. So if you say something terrible about Rasner Media as a publisher, you're now taking on those responsibilities, and you might be held liable for those. If you're saying something about President Trump, you might be held liable for saying those things. So I think the liability shifts from the company to the individual if you take that away. So I think it's a double-edged sword. So I think we all need to have a good open debate. And this might be an amazing opportunity to have a TikTok panel and talk this out and flush out all the great ideas on both sides. Or even if you just have someone play devil's advocate like I'm doing right now, I think that would be a really great thing on a TikTok panel to have and showcase. And really, it's apolitical, because I can't imagine why a Democrat would be for or against, or a Republican would be for or against. I think this is an apolitical issue. This is a social media issue. We just have to realize and come to terms on what exactly it means if we take away Section 230.
Yeah, I think that's the part that people aren't really talking about a whole lot.
Yeah. Well, yeah, what
What
happens? I mean, yeah.
what has the feedback been from the Trump administration with your bid?
Well, President Trump put our bid out on Truth Social as the most Trumpian bid there is.
Yes.
So I think we have a pretty good thumbs up from President Trump himself, who also, by way of Congress and the law and the Supreme Court upholding it, the executive office has to sign off on this deal. So they're the ones who hold the final say in anything that happens. I think we stand in a pretty good position. We have a good working relationship so far, and we're going to continue to fight and push for this to be acquired by the June 19th deadline. We hope there's not another extension. We don't want another extension, because we can get to work on our due diligence immediately. There's a lot of moving pieces, and everyone's working hard. So our relationship with the administration has been good and open. Our relationship with ByteDance legal counsel has been very good. The holdup truly right now is China. And is China going to allow ByteDance to sell? We don't know. And we're in a tough spot because we don't have the diplomatic status to talk to China, nor do we want to. But it's just a tough place to be in a business deal.
Has there been any indication at all on what they're going to do? Like, has
Well,
ByteDance kind of let you
I
in on
think
any talks?
I think ByteDance realizes that they have to sell because Congress has said they have to sell. And then they fought that in the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, nope, you've got to sell. The law holds. So they can own 20% of something, because that's what the law allows, is ByteDance can own 20% of Rasner Media, or they can own 100% of nothing, and their company goes away and TikTok goes away. So that's the reality for them. And I think they would rather own 20% of something than 100% of nothing. So I think they're okay. But again, China is the one holding it up. So that's where we're at today, is fighting with China. And it doesn't look like it got any worse in the news today with China. So let's see what happens. If we would just watch the geopolitical news, boy, it's a roller coaster.
There's still a couple weeks left.
Well, it's a roller coaster, guys. Let me tell you.
Anything can happen. We've learned that.
Yeah.
Okay, so for everyone that's listening, I'm sure a lot of people tuning in are going to be, open to your bid and like you for this. What can they do to help? How can they get involved and support your bid to buy TikTok?
Yeah, first use Buy Us TikTok, hashtag Buy US TikTok. That helps. Get out there and make noise. So you said we have about 2 weeks. We have, yeah, just about 2 weeks, like 18, 17 days, something like that, until the June 19th deadline. So President Trump is listening. We had an amazing letter sent out. I believe you all signed the letter. And we sent it straight to President Trump at Mar-a-Lago. 15.5 million subscribers and followers between all of the people who signed the letter. President Trump is listening, and your voice matters. So my advice to you is to get out there and send your tweets on X. Go on Facebook, go on TikTok, and make videos. Share this video, duet this video, and make your voice heard. Tell President Trump to end uh, the extensions, and just all he has to do is say Rasner Media gets this, and it's over. I'm pretty sure President Trump can do that very quickly and very easily, and I know he realizes that. So we can get this done in 2 weeks if everyone watching this video just goes out there and either shares this video and tells President Trump to sell Rasner Media TikTok, or goes on X and tags us. So tag Reid Rasner, use the hashtag buy us TikTok so my social media team can find it and interact and share that. But also tag President Trump, tag Vice President Vance, and get everyone on board and be loud. Your voice matters. President Trump believes that this app helped get him elected, and I know he's watching. I know he's watching closely. So make sure you get to talk directly to President Trump through social media using these applications, and tell him to sell TikTok to Rasner Media. Now's the time to have your voice heard. So it's speak now or forever hold your peace, because the reality is it does go dark after January 19th unless he gives it another extension, which he may or may not do. I don't know. He's the president. He gets to decide those things.
Well, Tara and I already have an account warning on TikTok. So, while I'm still on there, this is going to be my full-time job, spreading the word. And
Yes, please.
hopefully we'll see this happen, and we can finally talk freely again on TikTok. I can't wait for that.
We'll have a great First Amendment party on day one, where we can all just get it off our chest there. We can all just, whatever you got to say, we'll have a massive, massive 24-hour live.
Sounds great. Well, thank you, Reid, so much for your time. Anything else that we didn't cover that you want to touch on before we let you go?
No, I think you guys covered it. Thank you for having me. Please go out there and create videos. Have all of your followers do that. And I appreciate all of you. Thank you for sending the letter for me. And thank you, ladies. I appreciate this.
Yeah, thanks again. And thanks everyone for tuning in. And we'll see you back here next time.
See you soon. Thank you.